It's almost the end of an era. Sadly, client selling or sold, and just thought I'd have a little run through so I don't forget this garden. I've been with this garden longer than any other garden in my entire life. Yeah, coming up 15 years, and it's changed a whole lot. These steps, one piece, slightly curved. Tried to get something built in New Zealand, too expensive, had to go to India, and client never saw them. Sadly, they got transferred before they arrived. However, but this is a garden that always changes. It's never perfect. It's beautiful though. Things are coming off. I lost a little bit of the lawn because I had to do some moss control in it, but hopefully we'll get it dethatched before the new owners take over, so it won't look like this. But the garden, it's a bush garden, and the moss is growing beautifully in it. These are Hippeastrum papilio. They just keep coming up year after year. Absolutely beautiful, very rare plants. And this is the thing, the new owners, this is not a landscape, this is a garden. And like I said, it's taken me on 15 years to build this garden the way that it is. And I've had clients that have been awesome, the best. Never just do what you feel is the right thing to do, and we'll love it. And it's very seldom you get clients like that. But even in the areas where it's a little on the bland side, the moss just does stuff. It just makes it look like nature, and that's really rare to do. And this garden changes every week. Every week something new, every week something different. Even this pathway, that's sandstone, but I've let it go and let's let it become a mossy pathway, and part of this garden, it just works. Yeah, it's an absolutely beautiful little garden that always amazes. When these rhododendron vireas come out, this is an apricot one, an apricot orange, and it's just stunningly beautiful. This whole thing just comes alive in color, and that, unfortunately, I'll miss that this year because it normally comes out around the latter part of November. The yellow ones are starting to come now. Hopefully I'll get to see them before I lose the garden. This was a garden that I just started as the client moved away, and it never got finished. It's called the topiary garden, and we were going to have some Japanese maples, fine cut weeping maples at the end, but they never got planted. But what I have let happen is this weed, violet, I've let it spread throughout this bed, and coming up in about a month, this entire bed will be purple, with the green from the box. It's, believe me, unfortunately you won't see it this year, but it's to die for beautiful. I hope the new owners don't change it. I'm so glad the clients put in this glass balustrade too, instead of some wooden slat thing. It would have closed the garden off too much. It really is a beautiful addition. Probably one of the features that helped sell the place so fast. I think it was only on the market for about 2 days. And it was supposed to be the slowest period for house sales in the last 5 or 10 years. Anyway, down to the rose garden. It's been a bit of a mishmash, this garden. We've had our issues with it. A while ago, in that pot at the back there that you see with the impatiens in it, there were some Johnny Jump Ups or violas, and they've all spread into the rose garden. So at this time of the year, I just let them go. Normally I haven't tilled this garden because it's normally too wet by now, but for the open house I had no choice. You notice the big clumps of soil. That's what happens when you do it when it's too wet. It can ruin the structure, but given time we'll get it back with some compost. Hopefully the new clients will add some new compost. But the pearlwort, yeah, this is pearlwort. This is ancient, this stuff. And no matter how hard you try, you're never gonna get on top of it. It's gone through nuclear wars, it's gone through ice ages, it's gone through everything, and it's still with us. But then we come through to the back of the garden, and I remember when I first came here, the client, the grass wouldn't grow here, it was too shady. And he said to me, what can we do? And I thought, well, let me think about it. So I went down to Roger Hunter's, and these white azaleas were on special, and this purple rhododendron. And so I got 2 purple rhododendrons and 10 of the azaleas. And they do come out at the same time, but it's like in North America. Anybody in Canada or Southern Ontario will know how many times you get a white Christmas. You know, it doesn't happen that often, but it does happen. And there's been a few times that the rhododendrons have been in full bloom with the azaleas. I got photos on Homescape's page under client 49. But yeah, we also had, unfortunately, we had a tenant a couple of tenants ago who didn't water, and we had some serious issue with the other rhododendron. This one became quite leggy too. It was a bit of a shame. But yeah, you know, with different scenarios of the way things go in this garden, there are just so many different aspects that make this garden beautiful. One of the projects that never happened was this entire area here. I was going to take out all of that weed grass because it's too shady for grass, and turn it into an orchard. If the new owners ever contact me, I'll let them know about that. This garden around the gazebo, that was a while ago. It was just a nightmare of a mess. Couldn't see anything for everything. And I got in there and cleaned it out, and we started doing a little bit of a Japanese topiary garden to it, which sadly never got finished. However, hopefully the new owners will get inspiration and continue. That bougainvillea is absolutely stunning when it comes into bloom. And I've put in, the client before they moved away planted that pink, now I'm going to have a mental blank and I'll remember it right after. Anyway, that is a pink trumpet vine. With the red, they should be out around the same time, and I always think pink and red, some people think it clashes. I think it looks pretty good. However, yeah, we won't see that this year. The famous olive. See those Nandina? Normally they go red, and in this garden they've always gone that bronzy yellow, and just to die for, beautiful. Anyway, don't get me onto it. But my famous topiary olive that got so big I couldn't safely trim it anymore, and it took about 3-4 years for it to come back, and finally it's back, and I'm gonna lose it. Yeah, well, this white rose, that's an iceberg. We used to have a pink and red rose, climbing rose on here, but the pink rose was really awful. It would come out in the bud and then it would get brown bud, and all the buds would drop. They'd hardly ever open. So I got rid of it and put in the jasmine, and the jasmine is now just starting to get underway. So the new owners are going to enjoy that. And we had a red, I still haven't taken out the old stump, but that red rose died off. It just got too sickly. Anyhow, yeah, I just wanted to have a look. There were so many plans about this back corner. However, yeah, it didn't happen. So this is one of my favorite gardens of all time, and it's the one garden that I've spent more of my time in than any other ever in the history of me. So I hope this video does justice, and I can remember it when I'm old, and just before they throw me in the furnace, I can sit and watch this video while I'm dribbling, waiting for somebody to turn me over. Yeah. Oh well. This is what a garden is. It's not a landscape. It's a garden, and I'm gonna miss it.